It's time to pick a side. The Border War is on the air with BG and TanMan. Welcome into hour number 2 of the Border War. I'm going to skip all of our information. I get tired of saying it. It's been done ad nauseum.
Get on Facebook. We're available.
Facebook, Twitter, it's all there.
Spreaker. Go find us.
The Border War. It's really simple. We're going to get started in hour number 2 with the NFL. A lot of free agency. It's officially open right now, but It's been going on for a week now or more.
Probably more.
Players can sign at 4 p.m. today, which is Wednesday. If you're listening to this show, let's put an asterisk on this part, TanMan. I mean, I'm going to be talking about a couple of guys that I hope the Redskins go after. Somebody listens to this show on Friday afternoon or Saturday. Those guys might be on another team or might be on the Redskins or whatever, but don't judge us by what we said on Wednesday. It's just the nature of a weekly show.
Yeah, the legal is there anything in sports more weird than a league having a period of time where they acknowledge, hey, you can go tamper with other teams' players.
Yeah,
other teams are.
Look, if you want to find anything weird in professional sports, chances are it's in the NFL.
I mean, legal,
it's in the NFL.
It's a legal tampering period.
Yes,
I mean, it makes no sense. But anyway, these guys are starting to get paid. Some of them are finding their way to the unemployment line. BG. Look down the list. Is there anyone that's jumped out at you off the top of your head before we really get deep into it? Who got better the last couple of days? Who got the best? Who improved the best?
I don't know. I'm going to give a little bit of props to the Cleveland Browns. I think they've made a couple of nice picks.
You've got to give a lot of props.
I think the Cleveland Browns look pretty smart right now. I think Tyrod Taylor. Look, we talked about this. I mentioned this on the show months and months ago, and in an analysis of football based purely on metrics, and I think that's an interesting point to make at this point. That Tyrod Taylor was one of the most undervalued quarterbacks in the NFL, and which team is taking the metrics based approach, and who just signed him?
Well, you say that, but then you go back and you watch that playoff game when they played Jackson, and it was the worst playoff game in the history of the world.
I get all that.
That said, I'm like you, man. I think they hit a home run. Look, they're the Cleveland Browns. They're not going out trading for Tom Brady.
Kaiser needed to go somewhere.
He needs to go to the house. He stinks, man.
Well, yeah, but if he's going to have any future, it wasn't going to happen in Cleveland. That ship had sailed.
Well, what did we say? They need to go out. Stop trying to find a guy because we've established that you don't know what you're looking for. Go out and get a guy that everybody knows can at least play already.
And on the flip side of that, I'll tell you who I don't think is having a particularly good free agency, and that's the Bills. It seems to me they're signing and overpaying a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Everybody they've gotten, it's just because another team didn't want to pay them that much.
Well, I think the
Trent
Bills...
Murphy from the Redskins being the one that's primarily on my mind, but they're paying him nearly double what we were paying him. It's not like...
A little bit.
He basically came out and said, look, guys, I really don't want to go, but hey, what do you want me to do? I mean...
The Bills have done a good job because they decided, okay... Tyrod Taylor's not our guy.
Right.
And that's fine. So they go out, they move Taylor, they get a couple draft picks. I think they were sitting at like 21 and 22. Well, now they're sitting at like 12 and 22. The speculation is they want to package those two and move up for Baker Mayfield. If that's the case, more power to them. More power. Go up and get your guy. If you've decided Taylor's not your dude.
I mean, here's
go
my
up and
question.
Get your guy,
this is a bigger question. Do you really...
shoot your shot, man.
I guess. That sounds like what we were all saying before the Robert Griffin trade. Like, I don't... Are there actually NFL guys out there? And you know, man, I rode Baker Mayfield hard during the college football season. I was all about Baker. Mm-hmm. He ain't an NFL player, man.
Listen, Baker Mayfield is going to be a top 10 pick.
No, he is.
If they sit there at 12, Mayfield will be long gone.
That's fine. Let him go. He is not going to help you don't give away those 2 picks to get him. That is crazy. That's crazy.
I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, it's amazing to me. There are not a lot of times when I sit and actually say this, but there are guys who know so much about football that they don't know anything about football anymore. They out-coach themselves, man. conventional wisdom in these drafts, it's almost never right.
Yeah. Team that I think that improved the most, you mentioned them, the Browns. They also added Jarvis Landry in a trade with the Dolphins. They're going to work out extensions. Now you've got a quarterback that can play. You're still got 2 top 5 picks. You've got a receiver. You got if Josh Gordon, if you can, and that's a big if. But if you can ever get him right, and then you get Landry and Gordon. They signed Carlos Hyde today. That's coming out. Carlos Hyde's coming, who had a good year. Are you in the market for Saquon Barkley? Now they've got some real flexibility at the top of that draft.
Yeah, you're right.
The other team that I thought made a big move, really got better. They have a young quarterback. Last year he was okay. No weapons at all other than Tariq Cohen. And I'm drawing a blank on the other running back's name for Chicago, Jordan Howard. Mm-hmm. The Bears, they go out. They add Taylor Gabriel from Atlanta. They had Allen Robinson from Jacksonville, and they add tight end Trey Burton.
Well, they sure had nowhere to go but up.
Had nowhere to go up. But so now Mitch Trubisky, like I said, he looked okay last year.
And you
saw some reason for him. Now he's got some weapons.
And if you're a Chicago Bears fan, this is why you're glad Trubisky started a bunch of games for you last season. Because you got all that out of the way. Now you've given him some talent, and he's already taken his lumps. He's ready to play football.
Players, man.
A team I don't think having a particularly good. Well, you got the Ravens, who signed Ryan Grant from the Redskins. Ryan Grant, who has done nothing in Washington except he had a pretty good year this year. What do? They double his salary. I think that's a bad call. I think Washington's happy to let him go. The Dolphins just cut Ndamukong Suh. He's a full free agent now. That's clearly one to keep your eye on. And what do? They signed Danny Amendola to a huge. I think that's an awful.
They're going to be in the quarterback market before too much longer.
Yes, they are.
I think they're going to move on from Tannehill relatively soon.
Well, we don't know how healthy Tannehill is going to be. He's one of those guys. I think if Tannehill had been drafted by a better system, better team, he would have been a beast of a quarterback.
What do you think about the Packers? They cut Jordy Nelson yesterday. They had Jimmy Graham, and today they had Mo Wilkerson.
I don't get the Jimmy Graham thing.
I don't get the Jordy Nelson thing. Yeah, everybody said his numbers. Well, he didn't have Aaron Rodgers for most of the year last year, so we're going to cut him on numbers.
And we know what they looked like the season before without him.
Right. And so, he and Rodgers are famously tight. So that's interesting to see how that plays out. The other one, Panthers. One thing I always heard was they need a playmaker. And they go out and they trade for Torrey Smith. Is this the guy that they've all been waiting for? Is this Cam Newton's
After all the talking we did, they apparently didn't even have a cup of coffee with Sammy Watkins.
No, and Watkins goes to the Chiefs.
And again, which overpriced Redskin free agent did they want to go get? Bashad Breeland. Good riddance.
Yeah, give him more power to him. Move on to the quarterbacks. Of course, we knew there was going to be some moving and shaking. Teddy Bridgewater signs a deal with the Jets. Sam Bradford heading to Arizona. You got Case Keenum heading out to Denver, so that opens up a spot in Minnesota. And who walks right in the door? Kirk Cousins. BG, they paid a king's ransom for your boy.
They are paying him $1 bajillion per playoff win that he's had.
Look, Clay Travis broke it down this morning about what Kirk Cousins was making by game. He was making like something crazy, like $14,000 a game, and it's going up and up and up. And now he's making like 1.7 or something million a game on his new deal. Look,
is it just me, or does 14,000 a game still sound pretty nice?
Sounds all right. Sounds all right. I'm only making 14,000 a game, but no, Cousins to Minnesota, man. I'm not as bullish on it as you are.
Whoa. I'm not bullish on it at all. Bullish is a good thing. What? Bear is the bad one.
What? God, man.
You need to invest more. I
want to punch you in the face,
You need to invest more.
The Cousins to Minnesota deal.
You're happy about it. You think it's a good thing.
For Minnesota, I do. I know the price tag scares you away. I know you're not a fan of the price tag, yada, yada. Cousins has never had the kind of weapons that he's got in Minnesota. He's got Adam Thielen, man. He's got Stephon Diggs. Look, Case Keenum,
and he's got a good defense.
He's got a great defense. And look, Case Keenum is a guy who bounced around the league, maybe he's a late bloomer. Maybe he's a product of the system. I don't know.
Keenum's played his best football.
I think so too.
But he's going to have a good defense too.
He's going to have a good defense too. But Cousins walks into a situation now with a team that's ready to win now, and a team, we talked about it last week, a team that actually wants him there, actually believes in him. I think Cousins to Minnesota, the Green Bay Packers had better watch out.
All right, so let me ask you a question. Yeah, and you may be right, but let me ask you a question. All right, so if you've got a good defense, got a good running game, and you've got weapons, what's the one thing that a quarterback could do to screw all that up?
Well, he's going to have to cut down on turnovers. I get you. I agree with you. But
because he and Case Keenum were identical quarterbacks last year.
Yeah, well,
just like he and Alex Smith were identical quarterbacks last year. You take their names off their stats, there's only one column that stands out, and that's interceptions.
All right, well, how much?
And
how much of that is him forcing it, knowing that, man, I ain't got it. Can't not one of these guys catch a football.
Well, he didn't have that problem the season before, and he threw just as many picks. Washington had reliable targets at wide receiver 2 and 3 seasons ago, both of those years. It was last year that they got rid of everybody. Cousins didn't look appreciably different either year. I'm just saying.
You're right.
He's turned the ball over, and he's done it consistently.
He has. It's a given. That number has got to come down. But I'm telling you, man, I think this is a home run for the Vikings. Home run.
We shall see.
We will see. Anybody else jump out at you want to hit on? Who are you guys? Who are you guys? The Redskins. Who are you looking for?
Well,
as I
mentioned, you mean that we still haven't signed because we picked up a few skill positions. Paul Richardson. Nobody.
That's a good pickup.
It's a good pickup.
It's a good pickup.
He's
better than any receiver you've had in the last 5 years.
Let's be honest, though. We're still playing. Our GM. Well, I can't use that. We don't have a GM. Our front office. We're still basically. Tell me I'm wrong, though, and don't be silly here. Man, don't make fun of me. But we're still
never make fun of you.
Shut up. We're still operating off the assumption that Josh Doxson's going to do something. No. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't have a real conversation with you about anything. That's how all that flat Earth crap in that day, and I end up storming out of the room, and that's just
What has Josh Doxson done?
Nothing. But what I'm saying is, you're not bringing in a number one guy. Richardson's being brought in to complement Doxson. In other words, what I'm saying is if Doxson doesn't do anything this year, then we have another bad year on offense. That's just how it is.
Where did you draft Doxson at? Was he a first-round pick?
Round pick? Oh, yeah.
Okay, then I get it. Not wanting to give up on the guy. Because receiver is one of those spots where sometimes it takes a guy a couple years. But...
he did stay healthy this year, which was
a big step. Let's not kid ourselves.
As for guys that we're still looking at, you get rid of Breland. I'm pretty gung ho about going after Tyrann Mathieu right now. I think that'd be the guy I would be looking at to sign at cornerback. The unfortunate thing is everybody else in the league is
wanting to.
And then just not to put too obvious a point on it, but Ndamukong Suh behind Jonathan Allen in that interior run defense wouldn't be a bad thing, but I'm probably not going to be in favor of paying him what he's going to want. Somebody's going to make a mistake when they sign him because he's just going to take up too much.
Well, if they pay him what Miami did...
Well, he's not going to get that kind of money,
I don't think. Kind of money either.
We'll see if he's willing to admit who he is right now. Sue's probably 30, 31 years old.
Yeah, he's probably somewhere around.
He needs to admit that he's going someplace to have 4 more good seasons and call it a day. If he can admit that to himself, then maybe you get him.
And Ndamukong Suh, he's made a nice chunk of change the last few years on a not so great team. Teams in Detroit were not so great. He's got to make a decision. Is it time? How badly do I really want to play on a playoff contender?
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
Well, and as big of a Redskins fan as I think we have a chance to make the playoffs. Yeah. We don't have a chance to do much in the playoffs.
Jason is checking out the Cowboys. I saw the other day the top 5 teams with the most money to spend in free agency. Of course, headlined by the Browns at about $100 million.
Yeah.
The bottom 5 teams with the least amount of money. Number 5 in that list was the Dallas Cowboys. It was a hair under $2 million, I think.
That's why I told you to trade Dez, but you want to argue about it, man.
Well, and you're right. I think if we're
whoa, say that again.
If we're going to get in a position to make a move for a Tyrann Mathieu, or Earl Thomas is out there begging us to go make a move for him. If we're going to make any of those types of moves, I hate to say it's going to have to come at the expense of Dez. I don't like that idea. I'm not personally ready to give up on that. Dez and Dak and Zeke trio, but so as far as we're concerned, I honestly don't see us really making any free agent splashes at all.
So you've kind of already answered this question. Any moves that shake up a division? Clearly, you think it's the Kirk Cousins move.
I think it's the Kirk Cousins move, and on the AFC side, I think it's the Cleveland Browns, man. I told you months ago, get on the wagon now.
Are the Browns in the sort of position that we talk about a lot of teams in the NBA and the East being in right now? Roethlisberger's going to go.
That's it.
It's not going to be this year, but he's going to go.
The Browns have set themselves up now, and it's not a finished project.
And Andy Dalton's going to keep being Andy Dalton.
When he gets up tomorrow, he's still Andy Dalton, man.
And the Ravens, Flacco's not a spring chicken either, man. That whole division's wide open.
It's not a finished product. They've still got to continue to make the right moves, but I think for the first time in over a decade, you could say the Cleveland Browns are on the right path, man. What did they make? 4 trades in 24 hours?
Let's remember that you're saying that about an 0-16 team. So let's win a few games.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not a finished product. They're not going to win the NFC or the AFC North next year. That's not what I'm saying. But it's all about putting yourself in a spot to be ready when the Roethlisberger run ends.
The move that I think shook up the division, it's not any one move. It's the absolute implosion of the Seattle Seahawks.
Oh, boy.
Now, if you recall...
They'll finish third in that division next year.
Sometime in July or August last year, I told you, I don't know if you remember that, man, you had the Seahawks...
Had them in the Super Bowl.
Think you did.
I think I had
And I told you they weren't going to make the playoffs. And I said, man, I think that team is just on the verge of falling in on itself. So I got to pat myself on the back for that one.
They did.
And to be fair, they are doing the right thing. All these Seahawks fans, of which my traitorous 4th grade son is one of. All right. I asked him this morning or yesterday afternoon, I said, man, are you happy with the Seahawks? And he's like, what's happening up there? And I'm like, well, you got a bunch of 30-something-year-old guys and you paid your quarterback. So all the guys they're getting rid of, they need to get rid of.
Yeah. There's a lot of drama in Seattle. Moving on from Bennett is a plus. Sherman, he's 30 years old.
Sherman
he's coming off
not going to be Sherman anymore.
He's coming off 2 Achilles injuries. I think they're both hurt right now. I get it. I get it. It's probably...
We talked about this before, man. They missed their window. They missed it.
I think when Pete Carroll decided to throw the football
that was
at the 1 yard line to go,
they could have won. They should have won 2 Super Bowls.
Yep. That was their multiple Super Bowl,
and they missed it.
Yep, that was their multiple Super Bowl opportunity.
But no, you're right. They could finish last in that division this year.
They might.
San Francisco was competitive last year. They were competitive last year.
Yeah, they were competitive, and I look for San Francisco. Of course, we'll get into more of this later.
Sure.
I look for San Francisco to push for a playoff spot next year. Just my opinion.
I don't think that's out of because that's a terrible division.
It's not good. Them and the Rams.
Do you think that the Broncos should have looked at Sam Bradford? Would that have been worth rolling the dice? It is his year to not get hurt.
Yeah, well.
I mean, it's every other year.
Real quick on this, I think the Broncos wanted Kirk Cousins. I do believe in the whole word started coming out that Cousins was signing in Minnesota, and so they didn't want to look like they got left, and so they went out and made the push that Case Keenum was our guy all along. I think they wanted Cousins, and they settled on Keenum. And so, we'll see. As like I said, we both agree that Keenum's probably played his best ball.
I'm pulling for him, though.
I'm pulling for him.
Seems like a good guy.
Your guys or your gals.
Yes.
Dawn Staley mentioned the other day after the women's brackets came out, she's not happy about being sent to Albany. Not happy about being in the bracket with the monster that is the Connecticut Huskies in women's basketball.
And that is the correct term.
Has she got a gripe?
Well, here's the thing. Give me your take, because we talked about this earlier. My take's going to sound better after your take. So what was your take on that? Because you kind of just misquoted her a little bit. What is she saying? You tell me that.
Well, I don't have the exact quote in front of me.
Give me the gist of it. Yeah.
To me, the gist of it was she wasn't happy, one, that they were going to Albany, which is not really within driving distance for a lot of their fans. I thought
Albany's barely in driving distance from New York City, and it's in the same state.
I think she was not happy about being sent to Albany instead of Lexington, and I think, which I don't think that she's really got a gripe about, but I think the gripe was some of being in UConn's bracket.
Oh yeah,
and I'll give her this: when it came out, I said, "Man, they won the SEC." You know,
beat one of two undefeated teams for the tournament.
You know, from that standpoint, I get it. But when you sit back and you look at the bracket as a whole, you know, I mean, I don't really think she has a complaint.
Well,
unless you're going to make the argument that they should have been a number one seed, which I don't think you can do.
I don't think anybody was arguing.
Then I don't think that there's really a complaint.
I think my take on it was this: one, Dawn Staley. Let's be honest. She's had a difficult year, man. She basically had to go to war with the SEC commissioner for a lack of ability to defend her against a sleazeball of an AD in Missouri.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, pretty much got handled and basically said none of that stuff ever happened, right?
Well, it was never acknowledged at all by the league.
I thought it had been. I thought they had settled it and basically agreed to leave it alone.
Well, except she's taking him to court for slander.
I thought she had dropped that.
Oh, well, maybe that happened. I didn't see that reported.
Anyway.
But my point is, so she's, I think, a little chippier than normal. Plus, what has she heard all year? That you backed into this national championship, that you won, and of course the reason that upsets her is because it's true.
Okay, well, then what do you complain? Now you're in their bracket. Go beat them. Beat them.
Well, that's what I was going to get at. She knows... You know, I know, everybody knows that South Carolina, as good as they are, could get 15 cracks at UConn and they wouldn't beat them once. Not once. So what does she do? She complains about the location when she's actually complaining about drawing UConn. Okay. But she can't come out and say that.
Okay, so
she can't come out and say, yes. Yes.
So on this era now, you're calling Dawn Staley a whiner.
I mean, if you want to call it whining, I think in her mind she thinks she's defending her team's reputation. But she's actually upset about drawing UConn and knowing that she's capped now at an Elite Eight.
Listen, she's got a point. I see where she's coming from. I disagree. I think I think she was really hammering home. She's upset about not being sent to Lexington. And she's got a point when you look at some of the places that they've been sent before, because they've been sent out west a couple times.
Yes.
You know, so they
California twice.
California. Yeah. So, I mean, she's got a point that they haven't really been within a distance that a lot of their fans can come to.
And I feel like she thinks their home draw should get them something.
Well, and she makes a good point where, you know, you talk about wanting to fill gyms and these arenas and get people in there, and then you send one of the best teams all around. I get it. But in order to, you know, looking at it, she wants to go to Lexington, so you want to bump Baylor out.
Well, I don't think her argument has anything to do with them, though. Well, she's just talking.
But that's, you know, the Georgia's old coach, I think it was Andy Landers, has been on that tournament challenge thing, that tournament marathon thing, and they've talked about this, and he made the point that 15 years ago, when Georgia was like the next top dog in the SEC behind Tennessee, somebody's got to travel.
Right.
I mean, somebody has to travel. And he said most of the time it wound up being them. He said we wound up out west, you know, more than a handful of times. And so from that standpoint, tell Dawn Staley, Laura Ingram said, shut up and dribble, man. Just go out there and play. Quit whining about your draw. Quit whining about where you're going. You're in the tournament. You're a 2 seed. You get to start off at home, for crying out loud.
Well, yeah,
shut up and play, man. You want to gripe? You want somebody to gripe? Let Kim Mulkey at Baylor gripe. Let Baylor gripe. They're a 2 seed in Louisville's bracket. They're going to go play Louisville in the state of Kentucky, and Baylor is 31-1, and they're the number 2 team in the country. You want to gripe? That's a gripe.
Yeah, look,
that is a gripe.
There's not much of an argument against that. You're right about Baylor.
Yeah.
You're right. I do think that Staley, she has a really good reputation. I think she probably should back off a little bit on some of this stuff. Because like I said, after the whole thing with Missouri, which I completely agreed with her about, it still leaves a bad taste in people's mouths when you keep coming back with more stuff.
Yeah.
Just probably let it go.
Just real quick.
And UConn's going to win a national
title. Well, that's
title.
what I was going to ask you real quick. Any of these teams,
no.
The number 1 seed, Louisville is 32-2, Baylor 31-1, Mississippi State 32-1. You got you guys out there. Does anybody have any prayer?
They beat us by 25 on our home court.
Almighty. Man.
What else do you need to know?
Man. All right, BG. We're going to hit up our picks list this week. Right now, we didn't do so hot last week, my man. Last week, I think I went.
Well, again, I told
3-7.
you this. Yeah, but you're counting picking whether we picked the conference tournament winner like it was a head-to-head game.
We did better doing that than we did picking actual games, man.
Oh.
We did better picking just a whole tournament in college basketball than we did picking NBA games. Between the 5 tournaments that we picked, between the 2 of us, we got 4 of the 5 winners.
Nice.
So we did, collectively, we're not too bad. Separately, we both stink.
You sure I didn't get them all right? Seton Hall didn't win that tournament.
Quite certain. If you can recall,
I just don't feel like that sounds right. I feel like Seton Hall should have won that.
If you can recall the ripped pants and towel cover-up of Ed Cooley, you'll remember that Seton Hall did not win. This week, it's all NBA, man.
That's awful.
It's all NBA. Godspeed to us. These teams are...
We could go 2-8.
They're half playing. They're half not. There's no telling who's going to play, who wants to lose. Let's get started.
Now, let me give the disclaimer here. I don't even know what the picks are. I refuse. No, you told me, you asked me today, do you want the picks ahead of time? I said, no. I'm tired of listening to your mouth, and I'm looking at your picks and blah, blah, blah. I don't even know what they are. So you're changing things as we speak. Are you changing the teams? What are you doing?
Maybe.
Okay.
First pick, Wizards at the Celtics Wednesday night. At the Celtics, give me the Celtics.
Same here.
Oh, shocker.
Oh, see, I'm telling you, man. Let me go first
Shocker.
then. I'm sick of this.
Raptors at the Pacers on Thursday night. Go first.
Go
first.
Go first. Raptors at the Pacers.
Raptors at the Pacers.
Pacers.
I'll go Pacers.
What do you think? I'm reading your mind? Are you mad at me now because I'm a clairvoyant?
I do think that.
I don't have the
Cavs
picks.
at the Blazers Thursday night. I'm going to Blazers, Cavs, cross country. Sometimes they play good. Sometimes they don't. I don't really know.
Give me the Cavs.
Give you the Cavs. My theory on the Cavs is they're trying to avoid Boston.
I love Damian Lillard, though. I mean, I wanted to pick Portland, but I don't want you to.
Right now, the Cavs, they recently fell into 4th place. I think they're doing the same thing they did last year. I think they're trying.
Lowballing it.
I think they're lowballing it. They're trying to fall into that 4-5 spot. They're going to let Indiana take 3, and they're trying to avoid a second-round matchup with the Celtics. That's TanMan's theory. Clippers at the Thunder Friday night. BG, where you going? What's your gut tell you?
Clippers aren't the Clippers anymore. I'm going to Thunder.
Thunder. I'm with you. I'm going to go with the Thunder too. If the light, and I know we're 3 weeks away from the season being over, man, but you just keep waiting for the light to really come on with that group.
Hey,
if it does, oh my goodness!
Let's give a little shout out to Sendarius Thornwell. 16 points in the game the other night.
I hear you, Sendarius Thornwell. Rockets at the Pelicans on Saturday night. Rockets just had their losing streak snapped. Pelicans, oh man, I love them. I love Anthony Davis. He got his first triple-double the other night. Give me the Rockets, though, man.
I'm going to go with the Rockets, too, and Anthony Davis needs to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
He's going to be the most wasted career in the history of the NBA if he stays there.
Here's one for you. One for the ages. The Knicks have won like one game since the All-Star break. I think it was an accident. Hornets at the Knicks on Saturday night, BG. Hornets playing out the string, excuse me.
Oh, boy. Why did you put that game on there, man?
Because we got to get 10 games.
You got a quarter?
Because we got to get 10
I need
games.
to flip a coin here. Give me the Knicks.
Taking the Knicks. I'm going to go with the Hornets, man. The Knicks they're not even trying to win.
It doesn't matter. They might still do it.
If you win one game in 2 months, you're not even trying. Give me the Hornets. Timberwolves at the Spurs Saturday night, BG. I'm going to Timberwolves.
I'm going to Timberwolves too, man.
I don't know what the Pop Kawhi drama is. I don't really know what this is about.
Yeah, it's weird, and it's like kind of like the Patriots last year. You're not used to hearing that down there.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on with that one. Give me the T-Wolves. Here we go. Lakers.
Timberwolves featuring Michael Jordan's love child.
Here we go again. Lakers at the Pacers on Sunday.
Two Pacers games.
It's
fine.
That was a mistake on my part, but it's on here, so we said it.
I'm gonna split my Pacers picks and go with the Lakers on that one. They're not a better team, but it's the NBA, like you said, man.
I refuse. Give me the Pacers. Nuggets at the Heat on Monday night. Two teams. The Heat, the East, the 8 teams are pretty much set now. In the West, there's still some give. Spurs may not even make the playoffs, man. They're right now. They're on the outside looking in. Nuggets are on the inside, I think. They're right there fighting. There's like 4 teams fighting for the last 2 spots.
I think they're like at a 9 seed now. But
give me the Nuggets going on the road.
I'll take the Nuggets.
Nikola Jokic.
I'll take the Nuggets too, but you'll never hear me say that again.
And finally,
worst mascot in professional sports.
Finally, here we go. The one we've all been waiting for. This whole picks list has been building up to this one, BG. Monday night. The heavyweight pillow fight, the Detroit Pistons at the Sacramento Kings. Give me the Sacramento Kings to get the win over the Pistons. I don't know why I said that. I think I started saying Sacramento by accident, and I just rolled with it. So give me the Kings.
I'm going to go with Blake. Give me Blake.
Hopefully we will do better than...
Coming back to California, not the same team, but he's going to show out.
Yeah, hopefully... We'll do better than last week, and hopefully we hit the end of the show better than we usually do with our NBA picks. We're going to circle back around to college basketball. We're at the Final Four, BG. It's time to make a run, time to pick a team, start back up in the South region again.
All right.
Give me your Final Four team out of the South.
Virginia over Tennessee.
Virginia over Tennessee. I'm going to take Arizona. I'm going to take it. I know you've got Tennessee out there.
Keep in mind, I have Arizona losing way early.
Yeah, well, and I've got Tennessee losing in the second round. I just think with Tennessee, they're going to get in a dogfight defensively with Loyola. They're going to get in another dogfight defensively with Cincinnati. Offensively, that team, I like them. I like them.
Yeah.
But they disappear on you. It's hard for me to trust them. Arizona is the worst seeded team in this.
I was really surprised to see him as a 4 seed.
It's
really
unbelievable.
Surprised.
So give me Arizona coming out of there, especially now with the injury to DeAndre Hunter. In the East, I've been championing them all year. I'm going to go Villanova over Purdue. I don't really like anybody in the bottom half of that bracket as an Elite 8 team, to be honest with you. But you got to pick somebody. So I'll give the Boilermakers their run. It ends in the Elite 8. Give me Villanova.
I've got the exact same thing. Villanova over Purdue. Midwest,
if you want to pick another worst-seeded team in maybe the second worst-seeded team in the whole tournament, Michigan State is a 3. That's a top 5 team.
Yes.
And they've got them as a 3 seed. Michigan State.
It's really kind of hard to understand how it even happens.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe it's the out-of-sight, out-of-mind thing. They haven't played in 2 weeks. They lost early. They lost in the semifinals of the Big Ten. The Jayhawks and the Spartans, another one. I think 3 of my Final Four picks to start the year may have been Arizona, Villanova, and Michigan State. I'm going to roll with them, man. No reason to discount Sparty.
I'm taking Michigan State over Kansas.
All right,
and go into the Final Four.
Finally, out west, I've got a rematch of the last year's national title game. Who'd you got? You had Xavier, North Carolina. Who you got?
I'm taking Xavier, man. I think you guys' run ends in the Elite 8 this year, which is just take your North Carolina blue glasses off for a second. That would not be a bad run for Roy Williams in this year. Basically, only bringing back Joel Berry.
If you would have said before the year, if you would have said in November when Cam Johnson was still hurt and we didn't know what Luke May would become, and you would have said, "Man, we'll make you a deal. You're going to go to the Elite 8." I think most folks would have said, "Okay."
Not you, because you're completely unreasonable.
Well, no, I am reasonable.
Difficult to believe. And remember, last year I picked you to win it all, and I was correct.
Yeah, I did.
So,
this year, the way it's played out, You hear how many teams can really win it. You hear 6, 7. I think North Carolina's one of the 6 or 7. I think we obviously can rebound the ball. We can shoot the ball better than we've been able to shoot it since Wayne Ellington and Danny Green were on the team in 2009. I think we've got.
You got the guard play.
We've got a senior.
You
point
just
guard.
don't have a North Carolina team. That's the only thing you don't have.
We've got. It just looks different than what.
Sure does.
It looks different than what you used to seeing. And this team is national title good. BG. I love our draw through this region. I think you give us another matchup with Gonzaga. I think we're going to beat them again. Give me North Carolina out there into the Final Four. So recap. I've
got Xavier, Virginia, Villanova, and Michigan State in my Final Four.
Arizona, Villanova, Michigan State, and North Carolina. We'll start on the right side, the East Midwest matchup. Villanova and Michigan State. Who you taking?
Nova.
I agree with you. I'm taking Nova. On the other side, Arizona and North Carolina. You got
Xavier and Virginia.
Who have you got?
I'm taking Xavier.
All right. So your national title game is Xavier and Villanova.
Yes.
A Big East, an all Big East final. Huh?
That's what I'm going with.
All right, man. I got Arizona, North Carolina. Give me the Cats, man.
I'm going to take the Cats, too.
I'll take the Cats. I think that Arizona, if you've seen any of DeAndre Ayton the last few weeks since all of this word got out about his payday, that man has been a monster. He was a monster in the Pac-12 tournament. They are underseeded. I think there is something to the thought that when they put the bracket together, they left out Louisville, left out USC, left out Oklahoma State, 3 teams that should have been in. What's the factor? What puts these teams together? They were all named in the original FBI report, and so I think the tournament left them out. I think they underseeded Arizona. That team was 3-0. They go to the Bahamas. They lose 3 games, and since they lost those 3 games, they fell all the way out of the top 25. Since then, that team has gone 24-4, and they've won a Pac-12 title.
Yeah.
They look to be peaking at the right time, man. I don't know we have any answer for DeAndre Ayton, but nobody does. So give me Arizona and Villanova.
So we're going with two different sets of Wildcats.
2 different sets of Wildcats. BG, give me a national champion.
I'm going to go with Villanova. I'm taking Villanova to win it for the second time in 3 years. They will not be breaking your heart this time, though.
Had to bring that up. If the title game is Villanova and Xavier, I agree. I would take Villanova. My bracket, I've got Villanova and Arizona, and I've got Arizona winning it.
Okay.
I think the Cats are going to cut down the nets. Sean Miller, they've been knocking on the door. They've been to the Elite Eight a few times.
I had them picked 2 years ago to win it all.
Yeah, I think that I had them picked in the Final Four last year. Eventually, you do it enough times, you're going to be right. Give me Arizona over Villanova for the national title, and maybe Sean Miller takes another job. All that team leaves next year, and they may not be back for another 20 years. But give me the Cats, man. So that's it. NCAA tournaments. Brackets have been picked.
Where will we be sitting for next week's show in this bracket exactly?
We will be sitting in the Sweet 16 this time next week.
Okay, so we'll have
an idea.
We'll go back and look at our brackets. Unlike a lot of people, we'll point out where we were right and wrong.
Yeah, we'll see where we are. Hopefully Trae Young and the Sooners are still dancing. Of course, I picked it, so that probably means that Duke is getting ready to roll to a national title.
Your entire Midwest bracket will fall apart.
It probably will be nothing left to talk about out of the Midwest for me. BG, have you got anything else to add?
I just think the Redskins have a real chance at winning a Super Bowl.
They do not. Guys, follow us, Twitter, Border War, @ the Border War, BG_Border War. I'm the TanMan 3264. Email us. We're on Spreaker, YouTube, SoundCloud, Facebook. There's no reason not to connect with us. Join the tournament challenge. Follow the link. Get on ESPN. Search the Border War Podcast. It'll bring us right up. Make your brackets. Go head-to-head with BG and I. Let's see whose bracket bust up first. I'm the Tan Man for BG. We will see you guys next week.
Maybe the Nuggets should change their name to the Ghost Peppers. Would that be good? The Denver
Ghost Pepper
Denver Ghost Peppers.
They know what Ghost Pepper is. Stop talking about the daggum Ghost Peppers.
They're hot.
They're awful.